Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I want to break down the iconic film Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley, but we won't be doing the usual analysis on romantic relationship between Elizabeth and Darcy. I'm more interested in looking at another couple, Mr. and Mrs. Bennet, and unpacking the catastrophic dynamics in their family. Avoidant father, really anxious, eccentric mother, 5 daughters, and financial problems. Which roles do they each take on and why? My name is Anna and I'm certified relationship coach based in Germany. I've worked with over 100 happy clients, helping them navigate their love lives with clarity. And as the saying goes, I practice what I preach. I'm also happy married myself. On this channel, I explore relationship dynamics through popular movies and TV shows, helping you to understand complex psychological patterns using well-known stories and characters. And enjoy the video. Let's take a look at the Bennet's family. They are members of gentry, have a small estate, limited income, and vulnerable position in society. The Bennet's main difficulty at the first glance is simple. They have 5 daughters, all already out in society. With modest resources and small dowries, their pool of respectable suitors is sharply reduced. The daughters also cannot inherit either the house or the land. In the event of Mr. Bennet's death, the estate will immediately pass to his distant relative Mr. Collins. And Mr. Collins, for his part, is under no obligation to let the woman remain in the estate. On the other hand, Mrs. Bennet's personal means are not enough to provide the family with similar standard of living. Yes, the women of their circle could earn money, as a companions for example, but that was considered a loss of status. Therefore, marriage for the daughters is the most realistic and stable path to security. Otherwise, they face so-called respectable poverty, what means a total dependence on relatives' help. And on top of that, age of the marriage market plays a significant role in how serious the situation is. There was unspoken horizon of desirability in their time, with most women marrying between 18 and 23, and the older an unmarried woman became, the lower she ranked as an eligible partner. A perfect example in the film is Charlotte, Elizabeth's friend, who marries Mr. Collins for economic reasons. There is a scene where she speaks openly about her struggle. I'm 27 years old, I have no money, no prospects, I'm already a burden to my family. And the eldest, Jane, is not that far away from Charlotte, she's already 22. And that was the reality for many women of that era. And from this comes Mrs. Bennet's deep anxiety about her family's future. Their situation is shaky and could fall apart because of the scandal, Mr. Bennet's death, or simply time passing if the girls don't marry soon. So when she pushes Elizabeth to marry Mr. Collins, or genuinely happy about Lydia's wedding to Wickham, it isn't cruelty or foolishness. It's a response to the realities of their world. Jane's and Elizabeth's excellent matches are more of a lucky exception. There are many brides on the market, and the Bennet sisters' options are narrow from the start. And what is important to see, that Mrs. Bennet's anxiety gets much worse because of Mr. Bennet in action. To see why, look at how they work as a couple. At first, Mr. Bennet seems educated and good in company. He seems likable. Mrs. Bennet, by the contrast, often annoys people because she's loud, pushy, and a bit odd. And if you don't look deeper, that picture stays. But her behavior is really the voice of her worry about the family's future, only made stronger by her husband's seeming lack of concern. Mr. Bennet prefers to stand back and make clever remarks instead of taking responsibility and actually trying to fix things. His humor helps him avoid his own worry. It protects his pride, but keeps him from acting and helps neither the situation nor the daughters who actually depend on him. And this creates a loop. The more Mrs. Bennet worries, the more Mr. Bennet pulls away into his studies, his books, and his sarcasm. And the more he avoids, the louder she becomes. She starts to manipulate, "Oh, I'm dying of nerves," and the whole house begins to revolve around her emotions. The daughters feel the pressure the most. Jane is pushed toward Charles Bingley, Lizzy is pushed to accept Collins, and the younger daughters are praised for flirting with officers. They're all quick, reactive ways to calm their worry for now. Anxious and pushy style of Mrs. Bennet drives Mr. Bennet away from his own duties. He shuts himself in his office and doesn't take real steps to fix things. He avoids the boring work of a father. In that era, the head of the house was expected to do unglamorous work, save money, find extra income, and set clear rules for his wife and daughters. He uses the children's freedom as an excuse to avoid responsibility, which puts everyone's future at risk and leads to huge trouble with Lydia. Lydia is only 15, she's the youngest sister. It was far too early for her to be out in society. Girls usually debuted at 17 or 18, and especially when the older sisters were still unmarried, letting her out in society was a serious breach of etiquette. Elizabeth argued the decision would prevent jealousy among sisters, but in truth it was just a poor parenting and a lack of clear boundaries in the family. We also see that Lydia is very careless and at her young age can't really handle social life. If you let a teenager go out in society, keep your eyes open and set clear rules. Instead, Mrs. Bennet is too busy marrying off the older girls, and the younger ones left on their own without any supervision. And Mr. Bennet, from his side, lets Lydia go to Brighton to learn from her own mistakes. He knows the risks, but Lydia is too much of a noise for him, so he prefers to ignore them and refuses his parenting responsibility, hoping the others will take care of her. And let's be clear, that isn't respect for autonomy. It's leaving a child alone with things she isn't ready for. The result could have been disastrous for everyone, and in fact it nearly was. With no parental boundaries, Lydia runs off with Wickham, of course, and others have to fix it. The uncle and Mr. Darcy, who cares for Elizabeth. They help save the sister's reputation and chances, but Lydia's marriage offers her little. She's tied to a man with debts, weak morals, and selfishness, and she's too young to understand her situation. And yes, don't get me wrong, Lydia really can be annoying on screen and in the book, but she is also a product of her home, an anxious mother, an avoidant father, and weak boundaries. Who hasn't done foolish things as a teenager? Lydia is flighty and overconfident, but she is also a child without a guidance, not warned that actions can actually have a long-term consequences. Even if Lydia often annoys me, I clearly see her as a victim of her own family. Her parents' job was to protect and guide her, but they didn't. And let's have a look at another tactic that backfires to the Bennets. This is Mrs. Bennet public improper talk about Jane's almost engagement to Mr. Bingley. I don't think she breaks the rules out of simple foolishness. She knows she shouldn't discuss such things, but she does it on purpose. A marketing tactic from her era to raise Jane's and her sister's value in society. By talking as if Jane and Charles are almost engaged, Mrs. Bennet hopes to make their match feel settled. She tries to show the marriage market that Jane's background is no obstacle, since even a very eligible man like Bingley is interested. The hope is simple here. If things move for Jane, the other sister's chances will rise too. But the tactic has a downside. Mr. Bingley leaves and Jane is left exposed. Hopes were raised in public, but there is no engagement. Her reputation takes a hit. And worst of all, she can't even show her hurt feelings openly at home. Jane is the eldest child. She's a family peacemaker. Her role in this shaky setup is to lower tension with good manners, gentleness, and fixed belief in the best. It's her survival strategy and her unspoken place in this family. The family leans on her calm. Jane feels really deeply but shows very little. She tries to be easy and not a burden to her parents in the chaos they created. Because of this self-control, Mr. Bingley and Mr. Darcy don't see how strong her feelings are. From the outside, her attachment looks faint, so Charles thinks the feelings isn't returned and backs away. But the story has a happy end. I'm actually really glad about it because Charles Bingley and Jane are well matched. Both value harmony and others' happiness. With less outside pressure from the families, they're likely to have a warm and steady marriage. And at the end, let's have a look at Elizabeth, Lizzy, the main character. What is her role in the Bennet's family? She spent the whole time trying to take on a parental role in the moral emotional sense. She asked, for example, her father not to let Lydia go to Brighton. This is an attempt to set rules and prevent obvious risks. She also covers for her mother tactless moments, or protects Jane, or set clear boundaries to the outside world, even with Lady Catherine. She wants to show the world, even if her family isn't perfect, you can't treat them badly. This is a parental and protector role she shouldn't have as a young woman. Elizabeth is also an intellectual ally of her father. They bond against Mrs. Bennet, which makes the situation only worse. It covers for Mr. Bennet in action and undermines the parents' teamwork even more. I feel sympathy for Mrs. Bennet. The novel says plainly that Mr. Bennet married her charm by her beauty, but soon became disappointed. They turned out to be a mismatched pair. She married up the social ladder but was left completely alone with all the problems she wasn't ready for. She lacked polish and education, yet tried desperately to save her daughter's future. Mr. Bennet, from his side, disappointed in the marriage, gave up the initiative and responsibility. In the family psychology, this is called an emotional divorce. The couple stays physically together, but one checks out emotionally and takes only a minimal part in the family life. The cost is predictable. The partner carrying the whole load gets louder and tougher. Anxiety and control grow and the worst traits come out. It starts to seem that this person is the family's problem, but the cause is deeper. It's the system reacting to the other partner's emotional absence. And if I had to pick the worst couple of Pride and Prejudice, I would definitely say it's Mr. and Mrs. Bennet. What do you think about Mr. and Mrs. Bennet as a couple? Have you seen the similar relationship dynamics in other movies, TV shows, or maybe in real life? Please leave the comment below. Let's chat. Easy Virtue with Colin Firth comes to my mind as well. Passive detached father sets the stage for a really controlling mother who tries to fix the family and its finances on her own. If you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend it. And it's a comedy but with a deep meaning. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe so you don't miss my next reviews. I'm planning to cover Desperate Housewives, Sex and the City, Great Gatsby, and so many more. Thank you for watching and see you.